Hi, welcome to Draw Plans. I'm Tom Norris, and today we're going to look at keyboard shortcuts that we should all be using. We all know a few, and some of them they will apply on loads of different software, whether you're using Word or Excel and so on. So you have the standard ones, and I've got to mention those because they obviously apply in CAD as well. But I'm going to teach you hopefully a couple of new ones, and that's the aim is that if you learn 2 or 3 out of the 10 that you're not using, then perhaps you'll start to apply them with your drawings. So it'll certainly speed you up, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. So number 1 would perhaps be Control S, which would be to save our work. So right now if I hold down Control and press S, I've just saved my work, and we should be doing that routinely. That's an absolute fact. So Control S, save your work routinely. Now for printing, Control P would be the when I say Control, obviously it's usually the key on the bottom left on your keyboard, CTRL. So it's Control P. Hold down Control and press P. It'll bring up all the print options, as against going up here into the menu or clicking one of the little icons here. So Control P is a very, very popular one. And then there's what I call a pair, which is copy and paste. So Control C. So if I want to select the icon here, let's just select. So we go Control C, Control V. That's very simple. So Control C copies it onto the clipboard, Control V pastes it onto whatever you're working on. Now, as I said, these work outside CAD, but again, there'll be people that actually don't know how to use the Control C and the Control V. So copy, Control C, V to paste. Do it again. There you go. That's your pasting done. Right, next one would be, and now we're getting into, we're now perhaps getting more into CAD, because now the next few shortcuts would be probably the most popular ones used within CAD, exclusively to CAD. So if I want to see the properties box, if I want to see the properties of any item, so we just pick, there you go, and I Control F. So Control F brings up the properties if we want to change scale, if we want to hatch, whatever we want to do to it. Control F brings up properties. So that's the keyboard shortcut. Bring it up again, Control F, and that's the one you're going to remember. If you forget some of these, what I'm telling you, they're written here, so all you need to do is come back on the video. And I've written them up here, which means you're going to be able to see them. Again, you can copy and paste this bit if you wanted to, and put it somewhere else or print it off. But certainly you should be using it. At the end of the day, the whole idea is to learn the tools and save yourself some time. So Control F is properties. Again, just click any icon. Control F brings up the properties box for that item. Right, so a very simple one, but one that not everybody uses. And to be honest, I was using CAD for quite a while before I started to apply this. And let's assume I was in line selection. Let's assume I was drawing lines. And then I wanted to grab something else. Normally what I'd have to do, I'd go up here and click the select so that I could grab that. But of course I don't need to do that. So if I go back into drawing lines again, and then I want to grab the doors, whilst I'm moving the cursor down, I just touch Spacebar, and then I can grab my doors. You understand? So we'll go through that again to make sure you get it. I'm drawing lines. I could be drawing squares. I'm drawing a square. drawing another square, and I want to grab this circle to add to it. So normally, as I said, what I would have done was go to the select tool on the top left. I could have picked it up on my right click menu, which is over here, select, and as you can see, suddenly it's highlighted. But let's go back and drawing another square. I need to get a circle, so before I can grab it I need to go into select mode. So this time I'm going to hit spacebar. Now watch how it changes here when I touch spacebar. Touch spacebar, it automatically changes to the select tool. So I can grab my circle, drag it up. So we'll do it one more time just to make sure you got it. Changing from whatever position you're in, be it the line tools, and you want to grab something, instead of going up and hitting this and getting the select tool, just hit spacebar. So spacebar changes to the select tool. So in other words, switch to the select tool using spacebar. So just that's the shortcut. It's a brilliant little shortcut, and in fact it says it. If I hover over the select, it says space, and I didn't pick up on that for quite a while. Well, there you go. So use the spacebar to switch to select, much quicker than going up or to invoking the right click and then picking up on it within that pop-up. Right, next one, which again I consider this a really important one again. Let's just pop up here, and let's assume I want to create 4 of these in a row. I want to link them all up, as in these rectangles. I want to link up. So I'm going to use the copy, Control C. I'm going to use the paste. I'm going to use another paste. I'm using Control C or Control V. So I've pasted using the Control V, but now what I want to do is I want to change the selection point. So at the moment the selection point is in the center, but it'd be much better for me if it was here. So to change the selection point, all you do is press D and drop the selection point where you want it. I'm going to do that again. Highlight the rectangle, press the letter D on your keyboard. That little box opens up here, click on it. Done. Now, so I'm changing the selector point. The selector point at the moment is in the circle, isn't it? For moving stuff around, but I want it here. Or I could do here as well. So, there you go. Simply by clicking D. So the shortcut is D. So grab anything. You want to change the center point back to the center, just click on D and then hover. Change it to the midpoint. There you go. So changing the selector point just by clicking the D. So the shortcut is D. So anything, click on anything, press D, and the selector point is now ready to be dropped on wherever you want to drop it. There you go. Right, number 9. Another one that took a while to learn, especially when you're using fill tools. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this little rectangle here, and I'm going to bring up the properties. So I'm going to Control F. Yeah, like that one. That worked, isn't it? No, it didn't. I didn't click it right. Control F. I have to click it. And Control F. Properties, and let's go brush. So this time we're going to do a color. I'm going to do this one. Let's do another. Let's bring up another rectangle. Control F, and this time we're going to do another color. So we're going to do red. How's that? Right, so now we've got two, and you can see now that the red one is overlaying the pinky one. So what happens is I want to that's the draw order. The red is on top. So if I want to change the draw order, I can go. Now you got to listen for this. Shift. So hold down Shift. Hold down Page down. Would help if I selected the item first. So we go Shift, Page down. And as you can see, the draw order has changed. So we go Shift, Page down. Draw order has changed. Now it's very important when you're doing fill tools, and let's assume you're filling something, but you don't want to fill, you want it to go below, and this will apply to anything you're doing. But Shift, Page down changes the draw order. Just select it, Shift, Page down. And we could do it the other way. You could go Shift, Page up. And that'll do it. Shift, Page up. And that'll do it. But Shift and Page up or Page down would be essential for changing the draw order. Now there's loads of stuff I do, especially when I'm doing a fill. So if I was doing, let's just assume I'm doing a couple of lines here. I want to fill in between here. Then what I might do is I might get a rectangle. And then I'll fill it. Let me just see, now I'm going over here. Spacebar, select it. Just fill it with something. Get rid of the outside line. So what I want to do is I want to fill. Look at the tools I'm using here. So I'm going to press the D and put the selector tool on here. And I'm using keyboard shortcuts for all of this. Oh yeah, very impressive. Now that's that works quite well, but if you look at it, and let's assume this was a different color, so let me just change the color. Let's assume it was this color. What you find is that depending on the hatch and the hatch color, or how you fill it out, sometimes it'll obscure the line. So what you want to do is you want to change the draw order. Now you can go Tools, and you can go Draw Order, Bring to Front, Send to Back, which means the lines here, they're actually behind the outlines, they're behind the black. So that's if you wanted to use the drop down menu. But again, to change the draw order here, hold down Shift, Page up, Shift, Page down. So again, useful tools. So whenever you do any kind of fill, say you're doing a house and you're doing a fill on the roof tiles, etc., and you want to make sure that the outline of the roof isn't covered with all these miniature little lines, just change your draw order. So hold down Shift, Page up, down, Page up, whichever way you want to do it. Just grab it, Page down, Page up. So don't forget that one. And the last one, pretty important, but it's one it took me a long time to learn it. A very simple one. So Control Shift, I want you to click Control Shift, very easy to do, and then O. And here you go, bring up a program setup. So do it again, Control Shift and O on your keyboard, and you're bringing up program setup. Now program setup, you think, well, you don't really need to be in there, but yeah, it's really important that you get used to it, because there are elements you will probably be changing more frequently if you know how to access those elements. So Control Shift O, bring up the setup, and let's look at desktop. So here you could be modifying. You might decide to change, if you want to go from classic to the black, if you want to go change the look, if you want to change the, I don't want to change the look now, compact. if you want to change elements within how the program looks and feels, model, space, color, anything like that. Preferences, for example, you want to, what we do here, you could, you've probably seen this, you know, we have your cursor, you can have it with an arrow, you can have it with the crosshairs, you can have it with the little square and the dot in the middle. There are various little bits. The color palette. Personally, I like this one. I would use this one quite a bit. Color palette. If you want to change colors within your color palette, that's pretty useful. That would come up quite a bit. Desktop, again, model, space, color, going from maybe from the dark to the classic. That would be a popular one, but there are elements in here and you can go through it. If we look at general again, what would we use here? Obviously setting up here. Elements in here which you'd want to change occasionally, but it's nice to have or to remember remember how to find it. So we'll try that again. Control Shift and then O. Right. Control Shift O brings it up. Program setup, desktop, status bar, scroll bar, rulers. Whether you want the rulers to show, you don't want the rulers to show. You want to take out the inspector bar at the bottom. So there are elements within all of these if you go through them, but again, it's up to you what you're doing. But the keyboard, the shortcut key is Control Shift O, and that'll bring it up every time. Yeah. Okay. That to me is the top 10. So we go through again. Control S to save would be a very important one. Number 2, Control P for printing, Control C for copy, Control V for paste. Properties would be Control F. Select all. So I'm not sure we touched that one. Control A selects everything on the workspace. So Control A automatically selects. And of course, if you want to just select a little bit, you just drag the cursor over it. Right, and again, remember this was one of the simple ones. I'm doing lines, I'm doing squares, I'm doing something, and I want to grab something else. Hit Spacebar to get to the Select tool, and while you're moving your cursor to pick up whatever it is you're going to pick up, just hit the Spacebar. It automatically moves up. Selection point, that's pretty useful. Selection point was changing from the default, which is the center. You just press the D, press the letter D, and the selection point changes. So let's do it again. D, and there you go. Selection point has changed. Changing the draw order, which again I covered on this one. Changing the draw order was shift page down, page up, page down, page up. There you go. And lastly, program setup, which was shift, Control Shift, and 0. Or O, not 0. I mixed those up. Okay, that's about it really, but these are the keyboard shortcuts we want to get our head around. Some of them will be very familiar to you, but I'm hoping that you've learned a few new ones here. Certainly worth the effort, because if you get used to using them, it'll save you time. I could pick about 3 here that I generally don't use, but I'll be trying harder to use as I move forward because of this little small tutorial. Okay, brilliant. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, got some value. I'll see you on the next lesson. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.